So we come from a place in the southern Appalachian Mountains, which encompasses a large area. Actually, we're from the mountains down into the Piedmont, which, if you look at the word Piedmont, it means foothill in French. And so we come from this broad area. Well, down where I live in the Piedmont of North Carolina, near Winston-Salem, North Carolina, there's a song that came from there called "Poor Ellen Smith," and it's a very popular song that has spread its way through bluegrass music, old time music. But Ellen Smith was a real person. Her name was Mary Ellen Smith. This ballad takes place, or the story of this ballad takes place in 1893. All right, so there was this young girl who worked at a hotel, at the big, lavish hotel in Winston-Salem, which was called the Zinzendorf. She was involved with a young man whose name was Peter de Graaf. He was known as a local ne'er-do-well. Thug. In today's language, yes. He was a bit of a thug. So she became pregnant by him. He broke up with her. Well, he left her. But then, eventually he sends her a note saying, "Ellen, please meet me behind the Zinzendorf Hotel on the creek." And this is in July, in North Carolina. July 20th, actually. So, July 20th, 1893. He sends her a note that says, "Please meet me behind the Zinzendorf Hotel. Peter de Graaf." Well, she's working as a maid in the hotel. And she thinks, "Oh, Peter, he loves me. He really loves me. I love him so much. I want to look really good for him." So she gets on the streetcar, which is a new thing in Winston, North Carolina. She gets on the streetcar and she goes to the Cole and Rose department store. And she buys herself a new yellow scarf because she wanted to look good for Peter de Graaf. Because she thought, "Oh, he loves me and I love him and he's going to ask me to marry him." And she goes to the creek behind the Zinzendorf Hotel, where they had a scuffle. They had a fight. He proceeded to beat her. And then he pulls out a pistol and he shot her through the heart. He left her laying dead on the creek. Peters Creek is the name of the creek. Peters Creek in Forsyth County in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Left her laying dead on the bank of Peters Creek. Well, they found her the next day, July 21st. And in her hand, she had on her apron that she was wearing to work at the Zinzendorf Hotel. She was a maid. In her hand, in the pocket of her apron, she had clutched the note from Peter de Graaf. It said, "Meet me behind the Zinzendorf Hotel. Peter de Graaf." So it wasn't hard for the local constabulary to find the perpetrator, right? He left for a year and a half and lived under an assumed identity in Mount Airy, North Carolina. And in this song, you're going to hear how he left, and where he was. So we're going to sing you this song called "Poor Ellen Smith." And now that you know the story, when you hear the song, it's going to be a lot more real. So here we go. Smith, Lord, how was she found? Shot through the heart, lying cold on the ground. I urged back my tears when the people all said Peter de Graaf had shot Ellen Smith dead. Winchesters, they hunted me down. I was away in old Mount Airy town. They carried me back to Winston, my trial to stand. Live or to die, see, law makes a man. MacArthur will hang me, he will if he can. God knows if they hang me, I'll die an innocent man. Poor Ellen Smith, Lord, how was she found? Shot through the heart, lying cold on the ground. One more time. Poor Ellen Smith, how was she found? Shot through the heart, lying cold on the ground. All right. So to end the story, Peter DeGraff wrote that song. He sold it through the bars of the jail, from the Forsyth County Jail. He sold it to people. All right? He was the last man hanged in Forsyth County, North Carolina. And the local constabulary decided to outlaw hangings because 6,000 people turned up for Peter DeGraff's hanging.